Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Unfiltered with Bridget
And Angie.
and today we have Emily Shier from PAVE here in Beaver Dam. And Emily is also a real estate agent with Real Broker. She is kind of part of my team. We work together. So if anybody is, looking for real estate as well, you can also reach out to Emily. So Emily, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yes, I do real estate work somewhat part-time. My role at PAVE is Executive Director, and it's a pretty robust role. It keeps me very busy. And I came to it probably at just the right time. The person that was there previous to me is a wonderful grant writer, and she had written some federal grants, some state grants, and they were accepted, but they needed to be executed, and they were both for construction and renovation. So I came in, and at that time, PAVE has a shelter. We currently have a shelter and have had a shelter for about 30 years of our 48 years of existence in Dodge County. But when I came in at the end of 2022, the shelter was actually closed down because we had lack of staffing, and we're open 24/7 every day of the year. So it can be difficult to keep it staffed. And also, one of those grants was for renovation of the facility. It was our previous facility was pretty worn down from a lot of folks coming through over the years. It was a 7-bedroom, 7 rooms. Some of those were offices. Home, a ranch-style home in Beaver Dam. It was undisclosed, so people weren't supposed to know where it was, although
for
many people
reasons,
did.
I'm sure.
Yes, and safety reasons. And so we were able to update that and renovate it for the time being, while we then constructed or renovated a local factory that is much more secure. Our shelter is not at a ranch level. We're able to put in a lot of technology and security to make it safer for folks that go there.
That's good.
And in doing so, we were able to make it a disclosed location. So we're able to let people know where they can go for help because it's more secure. It doesn't need to be a secret, and we don't want to have people feel that they need to hide in the shadows or be ashamed of seeking help for their own safety and their kids' safety.
Right. So what does PAVE do? So you're a shelter for people, but what type of people are you, who comes to you, I guess?
Yeah. So a lot of people in the olden days, they would think of the services we provide as a battered women's shelter. But that is not really the case anymore. We are there for survivors, so people who are trying to prevent being harmed through domestic violence and sexual violence. So if someone has experienced a sexual assault, if children are experiencing child abuse, their caretaking parent is able to bring them. And we can have individuals who are 17 and up if they're by themselves and without a parent or a guardian. So they will come if they are seeking services. They can call us 24/7, speak with someone on a hotline, talk anonymously about what they're experiencing, and learn whether that is considered domestic violence or sexual assault, if they may not be sure if that's what they've experienced. So they can safety plan, and then we have support groups. So peer support groups where people can come and gather and talk with others who've experienced a similar situation. And then we also have a shelter. So the shelter is for people that either temporarily or for a few months need to secure a safe housing situation for themselves or their family. Sometimes it's just for a few days. So it could be that they go to the hospital and have a sexual assault exam at the hospital, forensic nurse exam, and then need to come and stay with us while they do some legal work, like to get a
Okay.
restraining order. And we have advocates available to give moral support for that and sort of lead them through that process, through the legal process, attend court, and um, and then they could return home if we're able to secure a safe legal situation
Okay.
where the other party might have a restraining order or be incarcerated. So and then we have case management. So we have professional advocates who work full time during kind of traditional business hours to work with people on um, getting their kids registered in a different school district, or getting them to school through their home district, applying for food share assistance if they need that, looking into medical help, medical services, making sure they're insured, and or mental health services or other services they might need to access that they wouldn't otherwise know how.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, we do a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
A
do do a
lot.
lot. You do, and that's all. The people who come to you, it doesn't cost them anything. So then,
Right.
how does PAVE, like, how can the community help? With PAVE and their initiative and help. Because you got to pay bills.
For
Things
sure.
aren't free.
And we
so,
have hefty ones. So
yeah.
we did get a grant from the federal government for $3.2 million to renovate an old factory
Okay.
that used to be herders in Beaver Dam. It's 52,000 square feet. It's ginormous.
Sounds ginormous.
I actually got
and-
the tour of it.
Oh, did
so,
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It is huge.
There is a portion that is a warehouse and with loading docks, and that we are able to lease out to a local business.
Okay.
So we do have some income that comes in from leasing that space. And then we have a little more leasable space that we don't use for our programming. And one of those 3 dividable spaces is currently rented out. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
But then our whole second floor is a shelter, and that costs people nothing to come and receive our services. So we were able to build it with community support and the help of a grant. And we have some other funding sources through the government, the Department of Children and Families, the Victim of Crime Act, Violence Against Women Act. That's part of my role and my associate director's role to apply for those grants and keep them monitored and sustained. But with a lot of funding cuts at that level, it's really up to the local community, to Dodge County and to Beaver Dam and our community, to help us keep the building open and the lights on and
The heat
and
running.
keep it staffed 24/7.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
To retain a staff who is doing very specialized services and needs
Yeah.
to stay trained and at that very sensitive level
Yeah.
of working with people who are going through traumatic events. So we do get some funding from Dodge County. Previously, we were funded through United Way, but they have been inactive recently. So it's really faith-based organizations. It's local businesses. We have fundraisers. We have one coming up. It's our biggest annual fundraiser. We try not to knock on y'all's doors as business owners throughout the whole year for help. But once a year, we have our annual Sweet Thanks, and it's to thank the community for keeping us afloat and keeping the community safe through our services, and also to have a big dessert auction. And it actually supplements our operational budget 100%.
Wow.
Or at least we're hoping. Our board of directors is hoping that it will this year. It's done a little bit better every year. And we have the most lovely dessert auction with the most exquisite desserts you will ever find. and it's quite competitive and
Oh,
very,
boy.
very fun. This year, the Sweet Thanks, it's our 17th annual.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's going to be at the Wayland Academy Fieldhouse.
Okay.
So that's the dome.
Oh, the
red
dome. Okay.
dome.
I was like, is that like the brick building? Like,
No,
okay.
it was in the last 2 years. It was in Lindsay Gym, which is in the Circle Drive. Part of the Hogwarts fancy Harry Potter part of campus. This is across the street, just on University Ave, and a little better parking, a little more accessible,
Okay.
and fits more people. So our event has grown every year, and we wanted to make sure it was comfortable. And this year's theme is Bridgerton themed. So
Very,
I know I
current people
shared
love
this
Bridgerton.
with you
Yes.
earlier, and
Yes.
our invitations are by dearest gentle reader.
Yes, if you watch Bridgerton, you know exactly why it started that way. Yes.
And so I was not familiar when the committee chose a Bridgerton theme.
Okay.
I was not familiar with it,
I
but
think it's like a Netflix thing. I'm pretty sure.
It is on Netflix.
I've never watched it.
Oh, you
I
haven't?
started
No.
binging it
You
as
did.
my work homework.
I mean, now you should.
recently.
Yes. And
Yeah.
the new season coming out
And
right
I feel
now.
like I'm living in another world of
Okay.
Bridgerton.
It's incredible.
Right now. It is
You've
incredible.
watched it?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It's the gardens and London and
You learn about how their lives function versus how it's very.
yeah.
So do we dress like
So
that?
so
Is the
it is
attire
not
that?
You want to wear a corset?
It is not required, but rumor has it that
Oh.
several people will be dressing for the occasion.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool.
Very fun. And I'm hoping that our staff volunteer coordinator at PAVE is Christina Frick. She's also the coordinator for volunteers at the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. And I'm hoping we'll be able to work out a costume rental with my beloved theater. So we're still working through that. So if people don't have access to such things, they could borrow something from the community theater,
fun.
hopefully. And if not, we also have folks that come in. Anything goes. It's jeans and a flannel. The radio station will be there emceeing. So Ninja will come, and I don't think I've convinced the Ninja to wear an ascot or ruffles or a velvet tuxedo at this point. So anyone can wear whatever they feel comfortable in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put the information for that too, in the comments below. So if you guys want to RSVP, what day is the event on?
It is on March 6th.
Okay.
It's the first Friday in March, which is when we usually try to have it.
Okay.
At 5:30, and then we also do an online auction. So if people are traveling or they're not able to attend the event and do the live dessert auction, we have fun baskets and gifts and things from area businesses. Most of it is local to Beaver Dam. We do have a state fair package this year that's going to be on there that includes state fair cream puffs. Yes. So there's some wonderful things that people can go on virtually and participate in, and that also gets really competitive. We have a Whisker sponsored cat litter robot.
Oh, I need that.
The actual litter robot?
Yes. So
that's
going to
get real hot.
A bougie litter box. And we had one last year too, and they got it for a steal. It was under value of what they cost.
Really?
If you buy them, they're like $700.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
And someone got away with a much, but it's for a good cause. So we hope that people will bid high and bid off.
For the bougie cats that want, the Cadillac of cat boxes.
Madison, are you paying attention?
Yeah,
for whiskers. Come on.
I mean, those are really nice. I've heard great things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have one. I have children, scoop it for me.
Right. That's what they're there for, hardcore. We also have on the PAVE website, if people are looking for help, if they're looking for services, there's a contact page that if they don't feel comfortable texting or calling in our hotline, they can reach out via email.
Okay.
And that's for if they need help, correct?
That's for anything. So we have a Sweet Thanks tab where you can get tickets for this event or hook up with the online auction. There's a volunteer page if you want to give help, if you wanted to help either in our shelter, in our food pantry, at some of our events that we hold throughout the year. We've got broad fries and all kinds of good things. or to serve on our board of directors if you have leadership or governance ability. Those are volunteer positions as well. And then for seeking services. So everything is on there. It's pretty accessible. And I should mention there's a really awesome initiative that's happening in Beaver Dam with one of the leadership Beaver Dam groups.
Okay.
They have decided to have PAVE be the beneficiary of their project this year. And what they are taking on is they've named it Sheltering Together. And it is phase 2 of our opening of our new facility, which is a pet shelter and an indoor
really?
green space recreation center for families. So that's our lower level in the basement. We have some funding still left from our construction that was slated for that project, but it wasn't quite enough to finish the project. And we needed a group of champions to infuse some energy and fundraising into that. So this group is doing that, and they're going to be at the gun club the day after Sweet Thanks, doing a glow thing, and just lots of fun ideas. They did a potato bar at Cabin Fever Fest recently, and are doing a variety of fundraising, and then also some project management around this construction. And that will allow people who not if they have a service animal, emotional support animal, they are currently able to bring that per housing regulation and rules to our shelter. But we have done quite a bit of data research on who calls in and whether they end up coming in for services. The average person who is fleeing violence will try to leave 7 times before they're successful.
Wow.
And if they're able to survive and seek help and leave a dangerous situation, it is the 7th time that seems to be more permanent into safety. But one of the main barriers that we found is that they don't want to separate from their pets, and they don't want to abandon their pets, or that pets are sometimes used as a pawn with kids in terms of vulnerability and violence. So we are not trying to be the Humane Society. We work really closely with the Dodge County Humane Society, and people are currently able to board their pets without relinquishing them through our program at PAVE.
So they're not
they don't
giving
have to
up
give
their
them
pet, they're
up.
keeping them.
Correct.
So it's not the Humane Society where you're like surrendering your pet.
Yep. If they contact us, we have an agreement with the Dodge County Humane Society where they're able to do that. But people don't know about that.
Right.
And when they're making that very courageous decision to leave a situation, they don't know that, we've got MOUs with PAVE and all of that in the behind the scenes. So they will, with this pet shelter, it'll be an emergency pet shelter in our shelter, where they will be able to make that decision, safety plan with our hotline caller, come in, seek shelter, and then have emergency shelter for their animals.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
And I also, people also, are very close to their pets. Some of them are, basically pets are part of the family.
Their children.
They're like children,
Right.
yeah, literally
Exactly.
they're children. Yeah.
And their emotional support, really, if you think about it. So, when they're fleeing a situation, they kind of do want their pet, with
Absolutely.
them.
That's their safety blanket kind of thing.
It
the comfort,
the safety, the comfort,
Yeah.
and just the support that they're needing, as they're charting this, unfamiliar territory, and they at least have their like security blanket with them, and so it's great that you can provide that. And yeah, absolutely.
And it's a big task, the liability, the insurability, the facility needs of having an emergency pet shelter, and it's not our wheelhouse. So we know how to help humans,
right?
Children, people of all abilities, all ages, gender, everybody. We are the experts in helping folks through that. But we have not been, nor do we really want to try to be the experts in safety for pets. And you can imagine it's already difficult. It can be a wonderful support to come in and have peers who are going through something similar, but it can also be very chaotic when you have people who are going through trauma. They're trying to heal. It's a huge transition. They're in crisis. and now they're with other people who are also in trauma and also going through difficulties. So imagine now trying to combine pets who have been through a difficult situation.
Correct.
They're scared. They are maybe angry.
Yeah, might be a little more aggressive. Yeah.
Correct.
And like a safety thing for them, they're just very
Yes.
defensive.
Yes. And so we're making sure that when we do this, we do it right.
Right.
We don't want to mix children and families who are going through a difficult time, who are coming to us for safety, with animals who may be aggressive,
Right.
or haven't had a chance to be vaccinated, or spayed or neutered,
Right.
or
Yeah.
any of that. So I like things really organized.
Yeah.
And our volunteers and our staff do too. And we have to make sure that they're safe, and that we're doing this the right way.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this group taking it on, because it's a huge undertaking.
It is.
And it's one that our board of directors, even before I came on, promised the community, and we fundraised for it. And we do want to complete it. We do want to give this promise to the community and to survivors, but we really want to be careful in how we do it. So.
Right. Well, and it makes perfect sense, because and the pet is also picking up on the owner's feelings as well.
Fear.
So yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then also being in an unknown area. I mean, I foster dogs, so
Okay.
I know you kind of know, like when I get them, I know kind of their background and stuff, but you don't really know how they're going to react. I had one where I got him, his name was Popeye, and we really didn't know his full situation. And when he came, he was the greatest dog ever. And he ended up turning a little aggressive. He would bite people when they came in. He would sometimes attack my dogs. He would attack me if I tried to hold him if people came in. And here he was just being protective of the house. And I still really liked him because, he was sassy.
And he only had one eye. So they called him Popeye. He only had one eye. So they don't know why, how that happened. Like, was it, was it because of abuse, or was it, so, you don't know their story either.
So, so I get where, it is a lot to take on. You're specialize in, people, and now you're adding, pets into that. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be another challenge, but I think it's absolutely great.
And humans are still our priority, but
Right.
in order for them to be able to stay together as a family unit or a partnership, we're really hoping to be successful with this, and still, work with one of our champions over the last few years, who's been helping to plan this and put policies together, and how we'll pull this off. Is also associated with a foster program for pets. So that is another option that we hope to lean on. But as you know, there's just so many rules about, the pet has to be in a place where it can go into a pet foster home. It can be around other pets.
Correct.
The medical needs, the vet needs. So one of the really cool things that we did plan for the construction when we did it on our building, it has washable flooring, drainage, the ductwork, the venting is all done. There's natural light in the pet shelter space. And then there's a stainless steel workroom for washing pets, caring for pets. And if we're able to partner with like some mobile veterinarians or service that would be able to come, at least just for that main assessment, to get them where they can to live in our shelter. That would be wonderful, if we're able to get that far with it. And then also our clients won't have to leave when they're in that moment of crisis. Oftentimes, the previous homeless shelters in the area had requirements where the residents had to leave during the day. And I understand why that was. They wanted to empower them to use the library, the community, job seek, education seek. But that is very different from the folks that we're serving at PAVE. They may be at risk for human trafficking. Their children might be at risk for abduction from a co-parent or an abuser. And we can't make them leave. We don't want to do that.
Right,
they actually are sheltering with us for their own protection. That is not always the case, and we certainly will empower them to utilize the wonderful community resources that we have. But at least initially, when they're stabilizing, that's just not an option. So same for pets. We're going to have people coming to us for support services for the animals and their caretakers.
That's amazing.
So
Making this, making this, a much better, for everybody. That's amazing.
Yeah. So real estate.
Jump onto that.
Feel free to volunteer with us.
Right.
But one of the things that we are running into at PAVE is our program was designed and the unit for shelter and the case management of the resources. We don't have mental health therapists on staff. We refer out for that. So a lot of what we're doing is referral based, just helping people get stabilized and then situated with what they need. And our biggest barrier to getting people housed or moved on from our program after 45 days, which is what our program is designed for, is a housing shortage. So there isn't a lot of safe, affordable housing in our country, let alone
literally
in our
anywhere.
county.
Yeah, there's not.
We're, there's been a lot of groups that have gotten that going, and some building happening, things getting formed. But for people who are in crisis right now and need a safe place to go, it's really tough to navigate that system. We also have folks who have often been controlled financially. Their credit may have been burned through, not at their own choice, but by partners. They may have an eviction on their record, and that is really difficult to find rent, a rentable place, understandably. For those of us who have played in the landlord world, we know that it's really important to vet people that you're renting to, and you don't want to get burned. But we applied for a housing grant, and we received that through the state, and we brought on a whole housing team that is a subset of PAVE. So it's just its own unit within PAVE to help people during that time when they're trying to secure housing. To look to work with landlords. We met with the Landlord Association this fall to kind of work with them through what PAVE can support in terms of financial support or referral support. But we also could really use help with local real estate agents and lenders to meet with our folks and work with them on some of the very specialized needs that they have. So that could be credit issues, that could be marital issues. So I have an example of someone who is a successful citizen in our community, a homeowner who came through our program somewhat recently, but went through a divorce and is able to keep her house. She's able to keep, she has her kids, she has her job, she has all of that, but that house is no longer a loving and positive space for her and her kids based on what they have gone through in the past couple of years.
A lot of trauma on those walls.
Absolutely. And so, as you know, when we're helping people as agents who are going through a separation or having to work with lenders regarding the divorce settlement and their financials, divorce is hard on your credit, on your financials. And it can be, and on top of being very hard emotionally. So I just share that because not everyone who comes through our doors at PAVE is struggling with poverty, is struggling with homelessness as we would typically think of it in the community. It's not that they don't have housing that's safe by your standards or my standards, but they may need a change and they may need some extra help going through that. So some creative financing options, which is your wheelhouse, Angie.
Yes, very, very creative. I said problem solve and see, how we can navigate.
And someone who's diplomatic and who can work with both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Bridget?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Especially if you're trying to sell a house and if there's not a very good divorce, you have, a very
tumultuous,
perhaps. Yes. I was I don't know what the word is for that, but yeah, it can be very.
Yeah. And I have a lot of experience in that.
Yeah.
I have had, many people that have reached out to me for help in situations like that. And, I bring Angie on and I'm like, okay, here's the situation. Here's what we're working with. And Angie and I together, we really problem solve. We really kind of get in there, try to understand everything, see what we can do to make it work. And I do, both sides and, really try to customize my services and stuff to really help and just get, the person where they need to be, where they feel, safe or happy or whatever it is, so that I love that. I love being able to help people.
Yeah, the compassion we have, I think, is really
exactly.
They're not just a person. Not like, oh, you're a paycheck today. Like that's not how we view our clients. We view them like her, and I have one right now. We've been working with her for a year and a half. It's not always like instant. It's okay. Let's plan, let's build, and then okay, this didn't work. Let's pivot. So it's always trying to find the next route. To get you to that final destination. But yeah, it's been a year and a half now with her, and she's gone through. I mean, it's very heartbreaking, but to show that you're human and to help navigate through that. I think when someone's going through that kind of trauma, it's important that you have those resources that you can lean on to help you and then navigate you down all those paths. Like, even if buying a house right now isn't your plan, okay, fine, let's get you on that path. To get to where you want to be. Like, it may not be immediate because of X, Y, Z, but let's fix these couple things, or let's work on this and meet again, in 6 months or a year, just to get that. So if you have a space for them to, shelter for a little bit while they try and get that figured out, I think is going to be really key. Because if you're going through a divorce and you get to keep the house, you may not want to keep that house, because there's so much in those walls that you don't want to be reminded every day of what happened, so I definitely see that side of it too.
Absolutely.
And that's a lot of what I think we do. That's why I went into real estate. I love how people live differently and how customized their space is to their budget, to their reality, to their dream, their comfort, and stuff happens, right?
Yeah, life happens. Yeah.
Have an extra kid that they didn't anticipate,
right.
Or extra dogs, or they have a loss, or they have a divorce, or their circumstances change, or they are bringing on an elderly relative, or someone, a child, an adult child, who came back after some time. So it just, I really like working with people through whatever they're going through, to make them more comfortable, more safe. And that's why I went into it. And I think that's why I then took the hook for PAVE. But I that's something that I think is really important to when choosing a lender, when choosing a real estate agent, to have someone who's going to listen to your circumstances and stick with you for the long haul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just help plan. Yeah. The plan is important.
And anybody out there that is, struggling financially with any type of abuse, whether it be domestic, emotional, verbal, whatever it is.
Yeah, all of it.
Financial.
Yeah.
Anybody. I didn't even think of that one. Yeah.
Anybody that is struggling, please feel free to reach out to any of us, the three of us. Absolutely confidential. We're here. We've, been through it. We know how to support you, and we'll be there for you. So please do not hesitate. No judgment here whatsoever.
Right.
So
just want to help the community. Yeah.
Please reach out. And we're not here to make a sale. That's not the reason I got into real estate.
No.
So just know that, you know, I'll be there to support you no matter how long that it takes. And I know Emily will, and that's why I was pretty excited when she decided to join Real. So
Well, I think too, like on our side of it, so even if we are not your specific need, we have resources. You know, like we have so many connections, you know. You can come to us, and then if we need to, we can go to Emily, and then you have so many, you know, resources in the community too. So it's just, it may not be specific to me or to you, but to have that ability, like I know somebody, talk to so and so, you know, so you have that warm hand, that warm lead. It feels less intimidating, less scary to ask for help. You know, when you have that, you know, talk to so and so, they are amazing, they will help you, you know, or let me have them contact you. So I think that warm lead. So I mean, this podcast today is a little bit more on the heavier side, but I think it's really, really important to talk about. I don't feel like everybody knows that there's resources out there for any of this, you know, because a lot of people feel alone. And like you said, it takes 7 times, you know, for someone to finally make it permanent. So I think having that resource of knowing like there's people out there that will help me, you know, and it's not like, even if you don't have a dollar to your name, it doesn't matter. You know, I think that's important too. If you don't have to pay, I don't have 20 grand to pay for, you don't need that, you know. So I think it's important to raise awareness that people are here to help you regardless of where you are in life.
Yeah.
You know,
and I don't think that that's something that everyone recognizes,
right.
that a lender, a real estate agent is bound to confidentiality.
Very much so. Oh yes.
You know, you think about, oh, it's such a vulnerable position. I mean, even the wealthiest person who's so successful is going to have some skeletons in their financial closet, right? Or in their relationship, or in their family dynamic. And it's a very vulnerable position to be in, and to say, you know, I'm going to call and I have to answer these banking questions, or, you know, I feel like I've definitely been reached out to a few times as a real estate agent, not because I'm the busiest or the most productive financially. I'm not doing it full time by any means, but because people have circumstances, they might be changing jobs and they're not ready to announce that yet, or they might be planning for a separation, and they are really wanting to trust that they can ask questions of someone without having their news shared. By, you know, Lady.
Right. Is it Lady Whistleton?
Yeah. Whistleton. That is her name. Yes. And so that is important to remember to, and I would suggest, if someone is calling me as a real estate agent with some questions, that they let me know that they're, you know, they're not sharing that news at this time, but that they have some questions and they'd like to, you know, maybe they just want to go see one property that they're interested in, but they don't want to share that with their family members or the whole town.
Especially if they're in the process of, if they want to leave the situation, you know, they probably want that backup, but they don't want that person to find out that they're fine. Because I mean, that probably makes it a lot harder, you know.
That could put them in severe danger.
Yeah, so you don't want to announce that. Like, it's nobody's business, you know. Like, we all have privacy guidelines we have to follow. You know, it's almost like HIPAA. Like, we can't tell people things. Like, that's not my information to share, you know. So it's very important that we don't, it's not public knowledge to anybody of what you're doing, especially if you're in a very, very sensitive situation like that, where you're trying to like build a future while you're still like, you know, in the weeds, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just know, you know, you're not alone. So reach out to us. And I mean, we all do have skeletons in our closet, and I've been through a lot. So nobody will ever get any judgment from me whatsoever. And you want to have a private conversation that sticks between us, you add it.
Right.
So, and I know the same for Emily too. So, and Angie. So I've been through enough with Angie, you know, so I can give her a testimonial on that. So, you know, she's helped me through some things, and, you know, and it's great. You know,
creative.
So please feel free to reach out to, you know, the three of us. We would love to help you and want you to know you're not alone.
Or if you need something that we haven't touched base on, just let us know. You know, if you need a resource for something specific, you know, we have outlets to find those for you. Or if you have any questions, you know, on anything that we talked about today, just put it in the comments, and we're happy to address those. privately. Obviously, if you want, we don't want to share anybody's information, but we'll put Emily's information in the caption, and then also the link to your fancy dessert and event.
I think I might want to dress up, step out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Okay,
maybe we'll see. We'll see when it gets there.
Yeah, have fun putting a corset on.
I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone and be me again. I'm trying.
So you're gonna go back into the English times, and you're gonna have your umbrella and your lace gloves.
I might try it.
Drink tea and eat crumpets.
What are crumpets?
I don't know what a crumpet is.
I don't know that we'll have tea and well, we will have coffee and tea. We will have all your favorite bar items.
Oh, well, there we go.
So I'm in.
It needs to be a successful
fundraiser.
Does
this come with an Uber?
There will be a non-alcoholic option, of course. And then we hope to have truffles and macarons.
Ooh,
and
macaroons and macarons.
Well,
are they different?
No.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't know.
Somebody let us know.
There's a French version and a.
Because I thought macaroons had 2 O's and macarons had 1 O. So I think.
Isn't it like potato?
I mean, maybe.
I think it is. Is it French? It's macaron.
Yes.
Well, you guys can debate that one.
Yeah, you let us know if there's
espresso. More English this year.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have espresso martinis, by the way?
We are not, but we will have coffee and we will have booze.
So you can make your own espresso martini.
I'll bring my own shaker.
Yeah.
Bring your own vodka.
There you go. There you go. It'll be wonderful. There'll be wine, there'll be beer, there'll be mixed drinks. And this year we have an area business is going to provide our bar for us.
Okay.
Beautiful.
In the past, we've had to monkey around with the city
Make your
license.
own. Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Volunteers and things like that. And we had a local bar saloon willing to take that on for us.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we are a beloved organization. And the folks that support us, what is very special about the folks that support PAVE, including our board of directors, it's not a feather in the cap. It's not a showy donation. I mean, at this event, it's showy, it's fancy, and we certainly are going to name our sponsors and make a big deal out of them for their giving. But when people keep the lights on for us, and that's not a sexy donation. It's just a really important one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they know they're doing really important work behind the scenes.
I definitely will be there. So
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I will be doing a table.
Yeah, well, maybe we can fill a table. I like it.
Wonderful.
Fun little date night.
Excellent.
I don't want to go on a date with you.
Rude. Unbelievable.
Okay, fine. If you're nice to me.
I'll get a paddle ready for both of you.
Yes.
No, because we'll just end up hitting each other with it.
Right.
We don't want to have that. This is a fundraiser for our local domestic violence agency, and so the violence will not be tolerated.
See, take that.
Yeah, I will have you ushered out.
Right.
Okay. You have to be kind.
I will try to be
gentle.
kind. I'll try to be kind
Gentle
to her.
reader.
Show your gentle loveliness to me.
Yeah,
but she antagonizes me a lot.
That's true.
I do encourage competition at the auction.
I mean, that makes it fun.
Yeah. Maybe a little like dress pulling and paddle whopping is okay.
Jab.
A little jab, elbow, very subtle.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, beautiful. Yeah, so thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, anything that you need, please feel free to comment or reach out to us directly, and we are happy to help. And Emily, thank you so much for your time on coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
It was very, I love having you on. It was very good, very powerful, and we're very excited for your pet, section 2 to come out. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
I'll be there to tour it.
Yeah,
Good.
that'll be good. Beautiful. All right. Well, thanks, guys.